Well, let us start. Let us start again. This is the position of the trigger itself, and this is the vice. This portion is defined as the vice itself, means it meant for carrying the load itself. What we have, you see, this is a block shape item which is screwed at the bottom of the machine, itself, and we have one vertical rod here, and there is a horizontal clamping block which is being fixed by means of a Allen key bolt here. And this particular matter is defined with is our test piece for ISO testing machine. And this is fixed here on the machine in a vertical way, so that, and the punch, a particular punch is fixed on the swinging weight, which is good. One is meant for ISO and another is meant for Charpy itself. Here for the ISO, there is another important point. You see, you have, I hope you can remember, there is a notch over the particular workpiece itself. And this notch, although is not visible here, is kept somewhat just here. This notch was provided on the work itself in order to ensure easy and quick breakage of the stress piece itself. And this notch is faced the punch in either test, whereas in Charpy test you will see it will be opposite side of the punch itself. Yet punch will come from this side and strike the workpiece, and it break and moves swing back here. And the portion of a rod is shown here, which is the break itself. This punch, when while swinging, cannot be stopped by hand, and there is no other mechanism given with the machine itself. But there is a brake pad is given. When the machine, after completing the work, will start swing back to the original position, when it will come near to it, you have to put this particular rod upward so that this brake piece will strike the punch itself, and let it stop there. It requires considerable amount of strength and correct understanding of the work itself. Okay. Next is, this is the punch, and this is the ISO testing. Before ISO testing, what have the setup we have done over the graduated scale is here. We put the pointer on 162 grade marking, and you see, along with the punch, this trigger actuating punch is moved up to a certain distance, and it is at parallel to the swinging punch itself. So it is also at an angle 85 degree from here to here, from the punch, from the machine body of the machine itself, and this will be exactly parallel to the machine itself before it starts swinging, and it will swing with the punch itself and come and strike the work. And on the other hand, the that striking punch is being striking the work itself and broke it and move up, and along this trigger will move the punch, move this trigger is move this indicator line, move up to the position the punch moves up, equal to the moving up upward movement of the punch itself. It will move up to that position extent, so that so to that extent, so to which the punch after swinging will go up. Thus, the amount of energy required is really variable to us. Say like this. It's kept here. It's shown here, not very clearly visible, but it's shown. Next, this is the rod for actuating the punch. What I am going to do, I am actuating the rod and release the punch. Punch moved and struck and broken the workpiece, and as he could not break the workpiece to the full extent, it moved from up to this position only. So we can safely say this required almost 140 joules of resistance is required to break the punch, even it is not sufficient to break it. But if we break it, it generally goes up to say 90 or 80 joules or so. Means around 80 joules of energy is required to break the punch in iso testing machine. Let us go for sharpening test. 1 second. Participant. This is a sharpening test. Here we have opened that front plate which I have shown earlier and move the whole punch up and fix over this fixing rod itself. In the same manner what we have done in iso test. Here there is a separate type of punch is required and is fixed here in order to ensure the punching of the loop itself. Next, here we have to set the diagram here. The initial point of child pivot load is here. So we have to keep it up to that position before starting the punch itself. So I am putting it here. That is 150, 154. So this is the amount of swing desired for the punch itself. So this is the 164 graduation where I am testing here, and which means if there is no workpiece, after striking the work, and the punch got nothing to strike, it will swing in the back total 164-degree. Then come back to the original, try to come back to the original position, and slowly and gradually reduces its swing. But as we are pressing it, our workpiece in its move, in its passage of swinging, it will first break and then swing, and it will not go able to go back to the end of this graduated cell. It will stop somewhere in between, which shows that from 0 to up to that position is the energy required for breaking the punch. Let us see. Same scale is there. IZ is also visible, and you see You see here the trigger or the driver of the indicating arm is at par with the shaft carrying the swinging load itself. It will swing along with the shaft in the same line, and it will go up. But it cannot go up like the punch itself. It will go in front and stay there where the punch starts swinging back. It cannot swing back like the punch right because it is fixed. It has no independent movement like the punch itself. Here, what you see, this is vices. That vice is again viewable. This is comparatively better shown here. This is a V block. It is an angular block here. In order to keep that to take the huge load of the striking the machine, huge striking load of the punch itself, and we kept the work over the top of the vice itself. And you see this notch is visible here. Notch is facing the punch in case of Sharpie testing machine. In the ISET, the particular workpiece was vertical, but in Sharpie it is horizontal. It is the essential difference between ISET and Sharpie test. In ISET, both for ideas and Sharpie, the size of the block is same. It is of 1 centimeter square section, but length is comparatively less. Sharpie is around 50, 80, 75, 76 millimeter length, and Sharpie ISO is around 80 millimeter length. And for Sharpie, the notch is exactly at the center, and ISO is around 1 centimeter away from the center itself. This notch. Now, this what important thing is to see this notch is not fixed anywhere, just idly placed over the vice itself. In chart where in ISER, you have to fix it with this particular bolt. Fix the workpiece with the particular bolt itself. Now let us operate. Here is the operating handle. I've touched and moved towards clockwise direction, thus releasing the punch itself. Here the punch is broken, workpiece, and go there here. It's around 120 or so. So 120 kilojoules are required to break the material in Sharpie machine itself. I'm showing you that once again. This is the highest position or the topmost position of the Sharpie impact test. And for ISOT, this is horizontal here, almost horizontal, and it is around 130 to 33 degree with the vertical itself. And this is the trigger. If you move in anti-clockwise direction in this side, it will operate. It will release the punch, and punch will start operating itself. Here is the punch in shown here, but due to darkness, I can't give you the focus rightly. This is a portion of the striking block which is fixed here, which is exclusive for Sharpie as well as IDOT itself. IDOT is a separate block which is we have to open before do the Sharpie operation and fix it when IDOT will next time IDOT will do. So block is fixed by means of hole Allen held over the punch itself. Again, the graduate scale I'm showing you, that is somewhere near 162. I'm showing initial blind. Here I am showing, I put it in the initial position here, and This is the operating lever here. It is parallel to the either testing machine. It is parallel to the punch itself, and it will move along with the punch, but punch will swing back. It cannot swing back. It can move up to the position where the punch will go, and it along with it, it will move the trigger itself, which will go up to the position where this particular operating lever is stopped. But operating lever cannot go back with the punching itself. It will remain there unless you operate it manually, like this. The workpiece here, but it is kept horizontally over the same vise, and it is not fixed by the Allen keyboard or this type of plate-like holding device. It is just kept as idle, and as well as punch is facing the workpiece itself. Now, before the operation, I will show you the operating lever is again. I am holding it back, moving it out. Thus, I am releasing the moving punch. It moves and strike the workpiece. It will more or less strike the break the workpiece around 100 kilojoules or so. Okay. Let us go through the theory of impact test once again, which I have told you earlier. What is impact test is signifying, what is doing is the toughness of the material, which is the ability of the material to absorb the energy during plastic deformation. Means what is the toughness? What I am measuring, not the ability to resistance indentation, not the ability to resistance the torque, but the ability to resistance, ability to absorb the amount of energy required during the plastic deformation itself. If the concerned workpiece is under plastic deformation, as a result, it breaks, it will show you the amount of energy required to make such operation will be shown by this impact testing machine itself. So it very short. It is the ability, toughness is the ability to resist impact load or impact shock, maximum ability. Now, a static tension test in an unnotched specimen does not always reveal the susceptibility point to brittle fracture. Because I have told you very clearly, for static tensile testing machine, if we apply load in a tensile load, it will break. It may break all right, but it will not give you what is the strength, what is this ability to resist sudden shock load. Yes, it will always face gradually applied load. So they are reading that particular mesh member or particular work is maybe stronger than same machine, same block is processed for the either reputation given there, you will find the result may be slightly different because they are showing you in kilojoules the amount of energy required for breaking the workpiece itself. This is the important factor determined by the impact test itself. The toughness takes into account both the strength and ductility of the material. Means by toughness, what is the strength and what is the strength? How much load is required to break the material? What is the ductility? How much load is made for making a deformation itself within the plastic limit, not elastic limit, but the plastic limit. Toughness takes into account both the strength and ductility of the material. Several engineering materials have to withstand this impact or suddenly applied loads in the applied load applied loads to service close to in service. The impact strength are gradually lower as compared to the strength achieved under slow applied load. So impact strength to withstand this impact or suddenly applied load is as a severe impact. It is severe applied load in service. Means in the service you have to, before putting into operation, you have to understand, know as per your chart what will be the toughness or how much energy required to bring it. And you have to, your designer have to judge whether this machine is feasible for manufacturing or not. Now, i- impact testing, impact strength, the gel is closer as compared to static approach, compared to strength achieved under slowly applied load. Here we have to use the notched bar test, which is most excessively used. What we are using a notched bar. I have shown you in the Charpy test, the bar has a notch exactly at the center of its length. In ISOT, it bar also has a notch, but around for 25 to 50, 30 degree away from the central punch itself. এখন several engineering materials has to withstand this impact of suddenly applied loads to loading service. So, so many items we are using per day, say for automobiles, maybe for a two-wheeler, maybe for a four-wheeler, it is always facing sudden high load. If you run through a speed breaker, you will get a jump because your part surface is not designed to enable you to jump over for door marking or door hump. So this is the impact energy faces the faces necessary to a subject notch load by accepting impact load itself. The load test, the lead test leads test means the notch toughness of the material under shock loading. You see, we have used the notch part test, which is most extensively used. The impact strength is generally lower than compared to strength achieved under solid loading, but the difference is also there. We have used the notch bar to which the most extensively is used. The impact test measures the energy necessary to fracture notch bar by applying pulse pulse load. You know, for both an RGR and Charpy, there is a triangular fraction over it, triangular notch over the bar itself. And this is gives us an opportunity to break the bar and to make the notice itself. And you can apply a certain factor of safety over your findings to in order to design the load because that will be sufficient. Now, this tests whether the notch toughness or final shock at shock loading. So, what is the matter of having a shock loading? The function of the notch is to ensure that session will break quickly as a result. Just the impact was the impact. Will simply bend without breaking, and it will be impossible for determining their ability to absorb energy. Values obtained from this Charpy test are highly arbitrary, but still it is being used to know the punches a good or way a good way to compare the toughness of the structure material and toughness of the same material under different conditions itself. So by this type of pressing and making it quickly one by one, toughness either for task Charpy, you can check one by one and you can compare them if possible with your earlier result itself. Now what we have, this pendulum testing machine. The pendulum testing machine, we have seen a pendulum which is swinging from for either for 85 degree and 40 from the 164 degree, which is away, always away from the test itself. This pendulum is a test designed for determining the ISOT and Charpy volume, and the Charpy volume is determined up to 30 kilogram. So kg Newton. So for riser, it is around 16 kg Newton, and for charging is around 30 kg meter. Both riser and HRP, the minimum graduation is 0.2 micrometer. Just a second. Now, the pendulum impact testing machine is designed for determining the ISOR and CHRP values. Well, the CHRP values determined with 30 kg meter in momentum, and both ISOR maximum graduation will be 2 kg meter, not more than that. So what you see, the from 0 to 1 to 0 graduation, it shows that only half of them not equal to 0.1, but progress of half will be divided as 0.5. Next is the construction of the machine itself. Next is the construction of the machine itself. The machine consists of a rigid and robust base on which the pillar is mounted. On the top of the pillar, a production mounted pendulum mounted on the anti-roller friction bearing suspended. The anvil for fixing and placing the strings for conducting horizontal strings is felt of its basis. The dial 0 to 16 kg, dial 0 to 32 kg is fixed on the bracket itself with the fixer up to the coil itself. The pendulum on anti-pendulum has two stations. The upper chart 114 and for charting is at the lower one is 85 degree from riser test. It is the angle of release for CHRP is much higher than that of riser. So it is creating much higher breakage load from the machine itself, from the workpiece for itself. Then release the lever of the pendulum. It is the release the blade of the pendulum is shown to fracture the test function formation and on releasing the pendulum fluid is done by fracture this specimen and the energy thus absorbed in doing as so during this mate, and the difference between the height of drop before the rupture and then height the rupture of the specimen and field is filled directly and from the position of the dial indicator itself. Next, the operation of the time. Just 1 second, please. Now, let us consider the machine itself again. The machine consists of a rigid, robust base on which a pillar is mounted, and on the top of the pillar, a pendulum mounted on anti-friction bearing is suspended. The anvil for fixing and a test specimen for conducting isolated chapit is placed on the base. I have shown in front of you there is a total vertical pillar itself, which is the pillar of the machine, and which has a big robust base because we are creating 16 kg meter as well as 32 kg meter of impact load over the machine itself by means of the fixing vice. This load is being transported to the machine base and then from the machine body itself. So it should be strong enough so that it can withstand that heavy impact load. Your part is also they are experiencing the heavy load. At the same time, your machine is also experiencing that heavy impact load. So you have to design and fix the machine whether it can sustain that amount of load of 30 to 35 kg meter or so. The over anti-friction bearing, a pendulum is mounted. That's item which is which shown by a shaft, and later a fixed block is fixed to it, and which is swinging over the bearing itself the is called the punch of the machine itself. The anvil for fixing and practicing the stress specimen are conducting, azot, and charpy is limited on the base, fitted on the base. There is the anvil we have shown you, or a what you say chuck, load holding chuck is given on the machine, which is also strong enough to withstand that heavy load. So it contains the load fixing vices for azot, and for charpy, load is not fixed but kept on the machine itself. But Natch has an important function you just told you. Notch is make the matter a bit weak so that it can be break the machine closest to the approximation. But the full load, the full form punch definitely requires certain amount of pressure load to break it. And so we don't go into the detail, but we give it as its particular weight itself. This pendulum mounted on the anti-friction bearing has the two starting position. The upper one is 140 for charpy, and lower one is 185 for starting post itself. Two starting portion is there. It means from where you are using the punch itself. One which have seen a particular punch is more or less horizontal and it is substantial angle, although invisible, around 90 degree, not 90 degree, but 85 degree from the air itself. Now, the release lever. I have shown you the release lever. I have shown you operating the machine. The release lever is moved downwards to break the main. Moves downward will break the measure. If you push this lever rightward itself, the height of the drop. First of all, the energy that's absorbed is doing so as the difference from the to fractional testament, and the energy thus absorbed by in doing so is to measure the difference between the height of the drop before the rupture and then the height of the drop after the rupture itself. Have this estimate and this is displayed on the icon of the machine itself. So what we are going to do in the operation, you provide the machine on a solid even surfaces and level it with leveling bolts provided. So first you have to keep the machine on a flat surface. We don't require a separate harness for that, but you have to level properly and keep the level rods well inserted in the material, concrete material itself. Now, every surface and lever is the machine on a solid even surface and leave it with leveling bolt provided. It is thus observed that the machine is put on a level foundation, civil foundation, and grouted. So we have made a civil foundation for holding such a heavy impact machine and grouted it there. So machine is not moving, and we forget the initial harassment for us. Next, the test mode. There are two types of test modes. One is either another is Sharpie. Depending on the test to be conducted, and fix the pendulum holding pipe at the respective clamp, then for either with 84 degree and Sharpie for 140 degree KGM, and thus the the, the stickers of Izod and Sharpie tests are different, and depending on the test to be converted by the correct striker of the pendulum hammer to be fixed on the pendulum hammer itself. Fix the test resin on the handle in position corresponding to the weight mode, that is Izod, and for Izod and Sharpie, Izod test will be face the notch and to totally it will totally 90 degree angle from the vice itself. Now for the Sharpie, it will take 140 160 degrees of swing before breaking the particular workpiece which is given there for either testing machine. Now fix the test specimen on the anvil in the position corresponding to the last position, and either the notch will be face the punch and the anvil should be placed on the machine itself, anvil will placed on the machine itself. Bring the pointer. Now fix the first space specimen in the handle. Bring the position according to the test model and either chassis. For the either notch of the system, we have to work a chassis which is not of the element or feature. The striker of Izod and chassis tests are different and depends on the we just told you the strikers for Izod and Sharpie are different. There are different type of hardened punches provided, and both are fixed at a time, so that for Sharpie we use Sharpie punch, for Izod we use Izod punch itself. For the Sharpie test for notch of the specimen at for the Sharpie test for good Izod test and notch of the specimen will face the hammer, and Sharpie test will notch the or be on the opposite side of the hammer itself. So what we are saying, test specimen on the handle equipped for handle, then a structure keeping on the handle himself, and which the structure will be bound accordingly. Bring the pointer of the dial, the required position, 116 kg per Izod and 32 kg of triangle reserve. I mean the Sharpie test. Release the pendulum. Bring the pendulum of the dial to the proper place, that is 16 kg for all. Release the pendulum by operating the lever mechanism, lever for pendulum, so as to set the pendulum lifted on the fitted on the wide by itself. Now, for the pendulum is operating the lever for the pendulum to strike the specimen. Note the reading indicated by the power on off, which will be the Izod Sharpie value accordingly. The diagram of Sharpie strikers are their positioning on the handle is enclosed by easy coordinate identification and treatment. Here you see the workpiece of the Scheiber machine itself. This is for Izod testing machine. It is 75 square meter, 10 millimeter square, means cross section is 10 millimeter, and with this position for specimen